Welcome to the International Student Roundtable pre-arrival orientation. We're really glad that all of you were able to take time today to join us, and we're looking forward to meeting you in person as the semester starts. My name is Christine Glaubitz, and I'm from the Faculty for Informatics, and I coordinate a variety of international student resources and support programs, as well as a number of other things for our students. Just so that you know and that you're aware, we're going to record this workshop, and we will upload the video for students to refer back to and look at in the next week and a half. The slides should be up within the next 5 to 10 days at the latest, but I think we'll get them up in 5 days. If you need the QR code to find out where our event archive is, which is where we then put links to our slides and our videos, please use the QR code that is here. And if you want to just go to our direct YouTube video, we have YouTube videos here. We really welcome your questions today. If you want to ask questions in German or in English, please feel free to put that in the chat. So don't forget to activate your chat. And we look forward to hearing your queries. All right, we're going to move on again so that we use your time. I'm going to also end the survey just so that we can continue with the information. Thank you all for completing it. For basic information, we can share this with everyone today. We have a mix of both bachelor and master's students here. Some of our students are exchange students, some of them are degree-seeking students. We have a lot of computer science students. And we have some students from other faculties as well. One of the things I just want to mention to the students who are joining us from other faculties, I'll be able to answer specific questions to our department, the informatics department. I will not always be able to answer specific questions to your department. There are some links to departmental coordinators that will ask you to follow up with them because they're the experts for your field of study. But we're glad that you're joining us because some of the information will still be relevant for you. Okay. It looks like about 94% of the folks are still looking for housing, and a mixture of folks who will be attending pre-semester course and some other orientations, which we'll talk a little bit more about. And then also looks like a number of you like playing board games, which is great because we'll talk about some events that may interest you later on. Okay. One of the things that we know a number of our degree-seeking students are concerned about, and we just wanted to give you an update about, is the admissions letter will come out in about 10 days. There's some administrative reasons why we can't issue it prior to that, but please be patient. We know that all of you are interested in the outcomes, and we will send you a letter soon. Oops. So what's today's agenda? So welcome, of course. We're going to go through some checklists. I have some colleagues who are here from the International Student Office who will talk a little bit about residence permits. And then we'll talk a little bit about the academic calendar, orientations, about selecting modules and planning your studies. We'll talk about resources that are available to you here at KIT, and then life here in Karlsruhe and student life, including accommodation information, websites, videos, information as well, points of contact, and then we'll do a big question and answer section. So hold on to your questions and be ready to ask them at the end of the conversation that we have today. We just want to make sure that you get all the information in one go. And for our exchange students, because some of you have learning agreements and have some questions after we finish the Q&A round, then we'll have a special session just for us where we'll talk about your learning agreements. Okay. So who's in the team that's joining myself today? I'm going to ask my two student assistants to introduce themselves. Matas?
Yeah, so I meet myself this time. Yeah, so I'm Mattis, and I'm here reading the chats and trying to have like a supportive role and trying to answer some smaller questions in the chat because I think we're going to get quite a few.
Yes, and my name is Nive. I'm also part of the student assistants and mentors in the KIT department. I will also do a part of the lectures today. Also, again, like we already told you, write down your questions and ask them during the Q&A section. We will try to have as much time as possible for the Q&A section so we can answer a lot of your questions.
Beforehand, can I ask something?
Could you wait to ask your questions until the end?
Okay.
Thank you. Daniela?
Hi, my name's Daniela. I'm working for the international office and I'm happy to be here today.
Okay. And again, my name is Christine Glaubitz, and I'm collaborating with all of the folks who have just introduced them so that we can hopefully answer your questions and assist you in your transition to your studies here at KIT. So what's really important to us is that we support you during your studies, whether you're here for a short period of time as an exchange student or here to complete a degree, either a bachelor or master's degree. We've built up a variety of programs to help you. There's some first semester information here for our bachelor students. Then we have a variety of mentoring programs. We do a lot for our international students. We have also a lot of events during the semester, the InfoSquare events, which there's events, and then we keep videos of many of the events, and there's an event archive which you can refer to if you're not able to participate or want to find out more information after the event. And then we talk a little bit about for our bachelor students, study planning and guidance in managing your studies. For our degree-seeking students, it's probably good to know what the path is. So today we have this lovely pre-arrival orientation, and you'll start planning and organizing your academic studies. In August, there is a pre-arrival course that the International Student Office offers, again, to provide you with a lot of information so that you get started before you arrive. Then once you arrive here in Germany, there's the start to your studies for international students that are degree-seeking students. That happens over 2 weeks. And then for our students who are studying in the informatics department, then there's a orientation for the informatics students and math students. And for the students who are in the economics department, there's a separate group that provides that orientation, because each major does their own orientation for students. And it's really important to participate in each of these orientations because they have very relevant information to that period in time that they're presenting the information for you. And then once the semester gets started, there's a lot of events. That buddy program from the International Student Office is excellent, really great way to connect socially and have support. And then we do a lot of workshops as well. And we hopefully at the end, you'll successfully complete your studies. For our exchange students, after today's orientation, you'll arrive here in Karlsruhe. And hopefully most of you are participating in the pre-semester course, even if you plan only to study in English. we find it's really, really helpful to participate in the pre-semester course. I can speak as a person that German is the second language, that having good basic German skills helps me navigate my everyday life and connect with people as well. The exchange office also offers for our exchange student a special O-Phase that's specific for exchange students. And then, of course, the Fachschaft or our FSME group offers an orientation for our exchange students. And then, same thing, please join in the International Buddy Program and participate in our events. So checklists. And I'm going to cover these things very lightly and quickly because we have a lot of information to cover today, which is again why I encourage you to go to our event archive and then look at this in more detail when you have time to go through it step by step. So for many of you, accommodations is a major priority now. Please start looking for it. It takes time and effort to do so. When my student assistants will talk about finding accommodations from a student perspective later on in this conversation today. It may seem like you're getting a lot of information to read from different departments at KIT, from the International Student Office, from the Informatics Office, but the information is really structured there to help you transition into your studies here. So please do take time to go through the websites. Road to KIT is fantastic. There's information about insurance, bank accounts, etc. For transportation, because you will want to get around, we recommend the Deutschland card and some other things. We'll talk a little bit about transportation, and you can then figure out what's right for you. There's a link to our campus map so that once you're here, you can find some information on how to get around campus and where classes are. The International Students Office has a variety of information, so please go through each of these stages. One of the things that we want to encourage all of our incoming international students is, if possible, come as early and have time to settle in before classes start, because you'll get off to a better start because you'll have taken care of many of the bureaucratic processes and starting to find your way into your new life here in Karlsruhe. For degree-seeking students, please go to the pre-semester course. There's a lot of wonderful information, as I said, and in-person orientations are also important. So please attend all of these orientations because they really do cover different information. Sometimes there's some things that are duplicated, but each of them go more deeply into a different section. So please take the time for all the orientations. For exchange students, it's the same thing. Take time to attend all the relevant events for you and all of the relevant orientations. Okay. Enrolling, a lot of students are concerned who've studied at another university that they need to register for modules and courses before the start of the semester. For the majority of the courses that you take, you'll actually register for them after the semester starts. There's some practicum and seminars, which we'll talk about in a few moments, where that's not the case, but don't panic. You don't have to register for classes before the start of the semester. What is good is to start looking at what's out there and available for you and to start to plan your studies. One of the other things is, once you arrive here, you'll need to update your data in the campus management system or the student portal and pick up your KIT card. Your student card allows you to do many things here on campus. Again, there's a lot of events So the International Student Roundtable is a workshop that we offer from our department, and we offer for our incoming students a number of workshops throughout the semester covering information that's very important for you to have at that point in the semester so that you don't miss anything. Also, kicking off your studies is a chance to have, in the second week of classes, many of your questions answered that might have come up since you've started your classes here and arrived. In the thick of it is then a chance to get more information once you're sort of settled into the classes and fit for exams. It's really important to understand how they do exams here at KIT and where you access information so that you have a successful academic start. There's a lot of mentoring events, so we look forward to seeing you at those events. We hope that you'll join the Buddy program and the FSME events. So I'm going to hand over the presentation part to my colleague, Yes, Daniela.
Thanks a lot, Christina. Just one additional question, because I see a lot of questions on the chat on this. People are wondering whether, if they've received the email invitation for this event, whether or not it means they can also expect an acceptance letter or not, or an admission letter. Could you maybe just
That's a good question. So that was the slide I showed at the beginning, and that is there's a greater likelihood that if you received the invitation to this event that you have admissions. I can't promise that because I'm not involved in the admissions process, but you should receive in about 10 days your admissions letter for KIT.
Thanks for clarifying this question again. I think this is interesting for many participants.
Of course.
Yeah. So, having said this, yeah, I'm working for the International Office of KIT, and I look forward very much to meeting all of you, or maybe most of you, at Karlsruhe or at the KIT campus next semester. I would like to share some information with you on visa, or to be more precise, actually on residence permits, because the first thing that we really have to make clear is there's a difference between visa and the residence permit. Visa is kind of the key for you to enter the country, and is limited to actually not more than 1 year. Whereas the residence permit is your permanent permission to stay in Germany, and you will have to apply for it like once you're here or just before your visa expires. Of course, as we all know, there are some countries with other regulations. From certain countries, people can enter Germany without a visa and stay up to 90 days, or maybe in some instances another number of days, and then they have to apply for their residence permit straight away. Thank you. I was just about to say. Another very specific thing in Germany is actually that you will have to register your residence. That is either in Karlsruhe City, or maybe if you find accommodation a little bit outside of Karlsruhe in the surrounding areas, they have their own registration offices. And of course, this is only mandatory once you've found permanent accommodation. If you're on a sublet or a very short-term rent or whatever for 1 month, it doesn't make sense to register your residence, but only like if you know that you're going to stay at this place for at least a few months, then this is when it makes sense to do the registration. And please mind, it has to be done within 2 weeks of moving in. Otherwise, you might have to expect a fine. It doesn't happen very often, to be honest. I think I only heard it from one student so far who came with a very serious delay. But yeah, nevertheless, it's actually mandatory, so please keep it in mind. If you already live in Germany and just moved to Karlsruhe from another city, you can do the application online. But if this is your first time to register a residence in Germany, a personal visit will be necessary. Right, so the next slide, thank you. The authority that you will have to see for this is called Bürgerbüro. And yeah, so local registration office. You can book time slots online, and but everything, don't worry, you don't have to keep in mind each and every detail by now. We're still going to explain this process to you once again during the pre-semester online course, and of course also during the start of studies. So I think this is just to sensitize you that this process will be coming up to you. What you need, of course, for the registration are some documents, but everything, yeah, okay, thanks. Everything should be at your hand, like your valid ID or passport, including your visa or your residence permit in case you already hold one. And specifically also the so-called Wohnungsgeberbescheinigung. This is a paper that your landlord or your landlady will provide to you, confirming that yeah, you have signed a tenancy agreement with them. So you need to present it at this office. And the result of your registration will be to receive a proof of registration, a so-called Meldebescheinigung. And you will need this paper, for instance, to open a bank account or some other administrative things. Right. There are several offices. You can, on the map on the left-hand side, you can see Stadtkreis Karlsruhe in the red circle, right? So this is like the city of Karlsruhe, and the white areas are the so-called Landkreis Karlsruhe, the surrounding areas. And students, of course, mainly try to live within Karlsruhe, within town. But of course, you can see the area is not that big. So some of you will also find housing outside in the whiter areas. And yeah, so there are other authorities in charge. The telephone number 115 is actually very helpful because you can just call it and they will tell you which your next Bürgerbüro or authority is to turn to. Right. Yeah, so we've already talked about visa and residence permit. Residence permit, you can see the funny abbreviation EAT, which stands for elektronischer Aufenthaltstitel. So this is what you will receive once you leave the visa and yeah, come to a permanent residence. And please keep in mind to apply for the residence permit well before your visa expires. So usually we advise you to apply not later than 3 months. And please also keep in mind that when you applied for your visa, you usually have to provide proof of a blocked account. And it can happen, or it will most likely happen, that you will be asked to prove your financial situation again when applying for the residence permit. So in case you expect some difficulties on that, like on your financial situation, please apply for the residence permit as early as possible, because then your blocked account will still be running for a longer period of time, and it will become a bit easier to prove your finances. Yeah, so you send your application for the residence permit to the so-called Ausländerbehörde, like the immigration office. You can either send it by email or drop it by post in their letterbox or personally. And please keep in mind, there's no need for a personal visit for the application, only for picking the residence permit up. You will have to book a personal visit or like an appointment for a personal visit. And the same is true for students living in Landkreis Karlsruhe, so in the white areas that we have seen on the map before, just that we are dealing with a different authority, not with the Ausländerbehörde Karlsruhe, but with the so-called Landratsamt Karlsruhe, which is, however, also located in Karlsruhe town. So yeah, don't be surprised. This is just German bureaucracy. Yeah. So actually the process is quite straightforward. In case you have any questions on this, and we will still be talking about this process several times during our orientation programs. So, but in case you still face difficulties or have doubts, you can always contact us at International Student Hub, and yeah, we will be happy to answer your questions. Yeah, I happen to see the question of EU citizens. No, EU citizens don't need a residence permit since, yeah, they can just live within EU in any country. Yeah, so we can move to the next slide. Here for your information, some links, some resources to read the process up. And there's also our email address, welcome@intl.kit.edu. So just write us an email in case of any questions on those processes. Or our consultation hours, I can see a little mistake. We are not available on Mondays, but only from Tuesdays to Thursdays, from 11 to 13 at our International Student Hub. And yeah, we will be happy to see you there. I hope this information helped.
Thanks. Thanks for the info.
Yeah,
You're
thank you very much, Daniela. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're going to stick around to answer questions at the Q&A round. After this event, I will update the slide. Just writing down the slide number now, and I'll update the slide so that when we upload the slides, that the up-to-date information is there. Okay.
I can just see a question here. Erasmus students, of course, everyone needs to do the city registration. Everyone who is around for several months or a semester has to do the registration. And I think we can speak about the visa delay later on, because this is a critical question.
Absolutely, but I think that was an excellent question. I wanted to bring that up. Even if you're an Erasmus student, you do need to register with the city when you come here. Okay, let's talk a little bit about our academic calendar. Winter semester, how do we read this? So the winter semester goes from the 1st of October through the 31st of March. Classes start on the 26th of October and go through to the 20th of February. There will be a small pause in December through the beginning of January for winter holidays. And then the other information here you can look at for the coming semesters as you plan your calendar. What we thought would be helpful is sort of to see how does the semester run a little bit. So obviously, there's a number of events. We say, start looking for housing. We know all of you are interested in housing already. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And then make sure that you go to the various events. There will be mentoring get-togethers, which is a really wonderful way to connect with people. So please take time for that. But this timeline we'll cover again at our various international student roundtable events so that you don't miss the opportunities and information that you need throughout the first semester as you're settling in. One of the things that's important to plan that may be a little bit confusing, lectures end on the 20th of February, but that doesn't mean the semester is at an end then. Exams go until the end of March. So please, as you're planning your timing, when you might take some holidays and rest and recover from your first semester, please be aware that exams will go through to the end of March. Some exams start already in January, but a lot of them are February and March. It's a long exam period. But again, we'll talk a little bit more about that at the International Student Roundtable in December regarding classes. Orientation, other events. Again, we've briefly mentioned that there's different trajectories depending whether you're a degree-seeking student or a temporary student, exchange student. And we hope that you will attend all of the orientations. Here again, you can sort of see the trajectory for our degree-seeking students. And for our exchange students, you'll receive letters from the International Student Office regarding a number of the events from the pre-semester German course to the orientation. Oops, let's go back. Sorry, and then orientation for the informatics, computer science. We have the Fachschaft, which is our student representative body. They're a really important group to connect with as you study here. They represent you in various councils here on campus. They answer questions, they facilitate the orientation, and there's a lot of information that they provide to help students as they start their studies here and throughout their studies. They are in the building 5034. And one of the things that I recommend is they have a IMAMA book for our master's students that's very informative. We have a link here that you can read. It's an older link, but they will update the book for the coming semester so you can read it once you arrive. They also have some videos that we recommend that you watch. So please participate in the orientation. This is sort of, the orientation goes for an entire week. It's really important to take the time to participate in the entire week. One of the things they also do is they offer a international student Q&A round that we encourage you to go to. The Fachschaft and I collaborate on that and answer questions so that you have the information. Again, there's a video that we recommend that you look at as well. There are a variety of other Fachschafts or student representative bodies. Please look at when their orientations are, because orientations tend to be at different times, and they're a really important part of your connecting here at KIT. I also want to mention for our exchange students, if you have specific questions regarding modules and courses and registration, you need to speak to the departmental coordinator for the department you're going to go to. And we have links here, and we'll again post that in our event archive. So again, so you see sort of the flow of the first semester. There's a QR code to our event calendar. We only have a few events up for winter semester, but we will be adding in the next month the rest of the events for the semester. Again, as I mentioned, we have the International Student Roundtable. The team that I collaborate with here within the department, we provide both an advisor and student perspective, and we're very fortunate that the International Student Hub joins us for a variety of these events as well to share relevant information with you. We also have a colleague that comes from Career Services that also participates in the kickoff to this, in the thick of it, to talk a little bit about finding jobs and what you need to know about practicums once you're here in Germany. So, planning your studies and selecting modules.
Okay, I will do this part. We already bombarded you with a lot of information, so we're just gonna keep it going. planning your studies. Like we already mentioned, or like we should mention, is you don't need to be officially enrolled to attend modules, especially not in the first few weeks. Of course, there are a couple of exceptions. We also have to differentiate between exchange students and degree-seeking students. So Christine, if you would click next on the slide, perfect. So for the exchange students, you should make sure that the modules you're selecting are approved by your home university. Also, you should check with your learning agreement and update it till the 18th of month.
And actually, I see that this was not updated. It'll be mid-November when you update it. We will correct this and upload that information.
Yes, okay, mid-November till you need to update this. I also recommend reading through the module handbook. They are linked here, and I know a couple of people asked this already in the chat. We will upload the slides after the lecture, okay? Then regarding the degree-seeking students, again, read through the module handbook. You don't have to read through everything, but at least the first 10 to 20 pages, they contain a lot of important informations, which will help you figure out, okay, what do I need to do? What modules can I take? What modules do I need to take? And how everything is structured. Okay, now regarding planning your studies, there are two ways you can do it. The first one would be top-down, where you first choose what specialties you want to do, then choose the modules for that specialty and also the bricks between that module. So you can plan each semester beforehand and depending on what module you want to take. The second way is the bottom-up way, where you in the first semester to choose, all right, what module do I find interesting? What are my preferences? What do I want to do? And after the first semester, you work from bottom to up to choose, okay, what specialty are those? What section can I put them together to? So yeah. Okay, how does registration for lecture or exams work at the KIT? First of all, the most important information is you can attend as many lectures as you want. You don't need to register for them. Of course, you have to differentiate between lectures, seminars, and labs. For seminars and labs, you do need to register beforehand. However, for lectures, you do not need to do that. But you need to register if you want to take the exam. So my tip for that is if you find any module interesting, just visit them, especially in the first couple of weeks. And then you can later on decide, all right, what modules do I want to continue? And later you can decide, all right, what exam do I want to take? If you want to know when the exam will be, check the campus management system. There's going to be written there. It's usually 1 or 2 months before the exam period, so you can figure out when the exam will be. And then during the exam period, you will also be able to take the exam. All right, now I mentioned a couple of names like lecture, seminar, labs. What even are those? I'm going to explain them in detail. First of all, there's the lecture, which is like the most common way of a module. There are 3 types, basically. The first one is the lecture, where the prof will be in front and just explain to you the themes. Then there's also something called the Übung, which is like an additional part to the lecture, where they will talk about either worksheets or talk about specific tasks or examples. Then there's also the tutorials, which will be held by students most of the time. So you need to register for a tut to be able to attend them. Then some modules, but not everyone, will also give you worksheets you can do. Some of them are mandatory, some of them are optional. It will be written in the module handbook, but it will also be told you in the first lecture most of the times. Be careful, read through the module handbook. Sometimes the worksheets are mandatory and you need to complete them to complete the module itself. Then there are seminars. Seminars you have to register before.
So you are actually using module and lecture words interchangeably. They are similar. They are the same.
Sorry, I wasn't able to understand that quite clearly.
So you are using the word module and the word lecture interchangeably. Are they actually the same? A module is actually a lecture.
No, a lecture can be a part of a module, but a module can also be a seminar or a lab. And please try to put your questions into the chat or for the Q&A section. Then let's talk about the seminar. Like I already mentioned to you, you have to register for them to be able to attend them. Most of the time, it's writing a paper for it and present it to your colleagues. and also watch and evaluate the presentations of other people. Then there's also a lab. You also call it the practicum. You will also need to register for them to be able to attend them. They are created to acquire more practical skills. Yeah. Then there's also the option for thesis, whether it be the bachelor thesis or the master thesis. However, for that, you need to find an advisor and a topic. You can check various institute homepages. Many of them will already have put on like potential topics and advisor, and you can just write an email asking for more information. You can also search for your own topic and ask for advisors if they want to advise those topics. And for more details, the advisors will help you with registering your thesis, etc. Then you will have to write and defend your thesis. Now, here's a bit of a flowchart which will help you select the modules you want to take. I highly recommend starting from the left. You want to check the module handbook. Read through the module handbook, figure out, all right, what does sound interesting for me? What do I want to do? But at the same time, compare them with the course catalog, or also we call it the Vorlesungsverzeichnis. Check, all right, what date would it be? What time will the lecture be? Is it this semester or not? You can also add them to your favorites and with that also to the timetable. Okay, yes, we can go to the next slide. Where do I find the module handbook? Here's the link. I highly recommend clicking on the newest, like if you're a bachelor seeking student, the SPO 2020. If you're a master seeking student, the SPO 23. And when selecting modules, you also, like I already mentioned, combine it with the course catalog to make sure that it is presented in the semester you want to take it. Yes.
And I just wanted to mention for the bachelor students who are participating today, who will be starting their studies in October, we will have a new SPO 26, and that you should utilize this module handbook because it will represent the modules that you need to complete your degree with.
Yes, then we can conclude. Yes, again, one more time, take the newest SPOs, don't use the old ones because some modules are not there any longer and new ones have been added. Yes, I already mentioned that. Use it with the combination with the course catalog. Now I'm going to talk a bit about how the module handbook is built up. First of all, if you want to check a module, click on it. Then you will figure out, all right, this is the module, human-computer interaction, and there are 2 bricks in it. The first one is called human-computer interaction. You can see how many credits it brings. In this case, 6 credits for the human-computer interaction and 0 credits for the pass. However, be mindful, just because there's written 0 credit points, it does not mean you don't have to take it. Actually, many of the times it's a mandatory thing and you need to complete it to complete the module itself. You can click on it and gather more information about it, like what prerequisitions are there, what information are recommended, how is the grading done, is it like a written exam, is it an oral exam, what language will it be, and what semester is it provided. Then if you keep clicking on it, you will get a direct link to the course catalog of that specific module, where you can get extra information about what time will it be, who's the prof, what date will it be, basically, yeah. Then the next important thing is, like I mentioned, you can figure out what building is it, what room is it, what time is it, and another important thing, if there's a minus sign in front of the room number, it means it's underground, it's in the cellar. Because many people be searching for the room 101 and not realize it's in the underground. Okay, yeah. We will talk a bit more in detail about the module handbook later, but first of all, Christine, going to say a couple of words regarding the language courses.
Okay. For our exchange students, we have a pre-semester German course. Again, we encourage you to participate in it. There was someone who asked if it was useful to speak German here, and I can only encourage you to work at speaking German. It just helps you connect with other people and to manage a lot of your day-to-day things. The pre-semester course is also really nice because it gives you a few weeks to settle into your life here in Karlsruhe, start learning the language, connect with other people, and start building your social circle. And there's a lot of things that you can take care of so that once the classes start, you're not trying to do a lot of the bureaucratic stuff that you must do once you start here, and find your way around here. So we really encourage that. And just by the way, for our exchange students, you can put that in your learning agreement and it will show up in your transcript of records, and you can take it for credit points for your studies. For all of our students, it's important to know that there is one free course per semester, language course per semester. For our computer science students, you can take a German class, and that can count towards the completion of your master's in computer science degree, because you need to do some soft skill courses. But there are also a variety of other language courses that are available from our language center, so check out what's available for you. One of the things I just want to mention, because the German courses fill up very, very quickly, and a number of people get frustrated because they miss registering for that. Please find out when the registration time is for the German courses so that you can have that opportunity to participate in them. I'll also just say for the language classes, they also tend to fill up quickly, particularly the English courses. So just be aware of when the registration time period is for that, and that is before the semester start. Okay. The other thing that I think is important for our degree-seeking students is to understand, how do I transfer my academic credits here and potentially get credit for modules and courses I've completed here that might help me complete my degree here. For our bachelor and master's students in informatics and our informatic teacher education students and our bachelor students for information systems, we have an FAQ from our department that can explain, how do I apply for a transfer of credits and what do I need to do. One of the things I'm just going to mention here in Germany is that academic freedom also means a lot of responsibility, and you will have to find the profs here on campus who are willing to consider giving you academic credit before you submit your application for recognition of credits. For our information system students who are in their master's program of study, you will need to apply through the Department of Economics and Management, and there is a QR code with information regarding that on their website. Okay. KIT resources and course selection for your studies.
Okay. Now we're going to talk a bit more in detail about how to select your course. Normally, I would ask who of you have done something or have you used it, or if you have specific questions regarding it. However, since we are more than 250 people, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just talk shortly about everything and try to answer as many questions as possible. Okay, first of all, we have 4 different things. The first one is the module handbook. The second one is the campus management system. Then we have the Elias learning platform, then the Sign Me Up platform, and the VB portal. Okay, what is the module handbook? We already talked about it. It contains many specific information about modules, like how your study is structured, also how the module is structured, what language is it, how do I look it up. Yes, like we already told you, pick the newest one. You can always see SPO 22 or 23. I highly recommend that. Please don't forget it. A lot of people forget it. I'm going to say it again. Take the newest SPO. Thank you. Then if you click on this, yes, it will be updated, of course, before the start of the semester, so you can always check it up. If you click on it and find a module you like, you can click on it again and gather more information about it, like what's the module number? Christine, if you can click to the next slide. Yeah, like what's the module number, what's the brick number, how is it built up? Like you can see, computational geometry has 2 bricks. First of all, the lecture itself, and then also a pass. You have to complete both of them to complete the entire module. Even, like I already mentioned, even if there's written 0 credit points, you still have to do it. You can see in recurrence how often it will be held. Here's written irregular, so I have to check with the course catalog if it is held this semester or next semester. Then if you click on one of the specific ones, you can go to the next slide. You get a bit more information, like how many credits it's bring, what are the prerequisitions, what information is recommended. Recommended is not a prerequisition, so you don't need to fulfill it, and how you can complete it. Yes, then already talked about it. Yes, you can click to the next slides. Yes, same principle. You can check the information, etc. Now let's talk about the campus management system. This is for managing your personal data regarding module selection, regarding transcript of records, etc. You go to this link, you sign up with your KIT account, like your shortcut and your password. Then you want to make sure that you select the correct semester. And then you can go to the course catalog and also check for the modules you've also searched up in the module handbook. Like I already mentioned, if you click in the module handbook for the link, they will directly send you to the specific link in the course catalog. So you don't have to search it up manually by yourself. Yes. You can click to the next slide. Of course, there's also a search function you can use if you desire so. And if you add a module to your favorites, it will be added to the timetable and calendar overview. So if you don't have your own one, you can use this from the website. Depends on what you prefer. And you can also download certificates from the campus management system, whether it be your transcript of records or how long you've been studying, etc., if you need it for the bureaucracy. Okay, let's talk about the Elias Learning Platform. This will be your main platform where your prof will give you resources you can work with, upload the slides from the lectures, upload worksheets, upload solutions. Some profs even upload old exams. And yes, you can use old exams to learn for the exams of the semester. This is not forbidden. No one's going to throw you out. I highly recommend attending the Fit for Exams lecture, which is coming up, because we will explain to you how a lecture is built up and how you can study for it efficiently. Good, yes. Then Christine's going to talk about the Sign Me Up platform.
Sorry, there was a lag in my computer time. So Sign Me Up is a tool where you can sign up again for classes, sign up for appointments with various people, including the Informatics Student Services team's office appointments. So there's a lot of things available for you. Some of the tutorials you need to register via Sign Me Up. Also, some of the practicum and practical courses and seminars use Sign Me Up. There's a number of administrative tools that you need to utilize in your studies, but your profs typically tell you which ones are relevant for their course. So we wanted to mention that. There's also the VV portal, which is also a chance to sign up for tutorials, seminars, and practical courses. It also sometimes has information about exams, time slots, seats, etc. There's a variety of information you can then search based on whether you're a bachelor or master's student and what you're looking for. It's also used for some appointments, including if you're an exchange student and have questions. There is a link under the appointment section that you can see here. And then you can sign up for appointments with me to discuss different issues that you might have. Examination schedule. We'll talk a little bit about this. I know that I think Neva is going to talk a little bit more in detail about this, but one of the things that I make a tip for our exchange students is some of you will be returning at the end of winter semester to your home university, and your academic calendar is different from KIT's academic calendar, and it oftentimes makes sense to look at what exams are being offered and what works with your schedule to return home. Again, when we do the fit for exams, we'll answer a lot more questions, but we wanted to mention that that's something to think about even now. Most of the exams offered by our department that are written exams typically are posted around the start of the semester, early November, in our system. And some of the other courses come a little bit later. And you can also ask your prof or the TA for the module that you're taking when exams might be taking place. Neva, do you want to talk more about the exam schedule?
I think Christine, you already mentioned everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I can only highlight one more time. Don't think you can just go home after the lectures are over. Be careful. There is a possibility that your exams can be scheduled exactly in those timelines. So check both of them, double check it, depending, and then plan your vacations, holiday, or when you want to return home.
And also, please check out the FAQ regarding exams within the department. There's a lot of information there, and that's a good starting point before you come and visit us and ask questions, because my colleagues have ensured that there's a lot of information to get you on your way. So.
Okay, then I will be talking about living in Karlsruhe and student life at KIT. You may have noticed I've been talking a bit fast about other subjects, but I'm going to talk a bit slowly and more detail about accommodations, since a lot of you have not accommodations and we're hoping about information for accommodations. First of all, I highly recommend search for accommodations as soon as you are admitted, since it can take a long time to find something which is fit for you. There is like the Studierendenwerk, which is like the main organization we can ask for help, which will try help us with finding accommodations. However, there is a long waiting list, so just put yourself in the waiting list. If you find something beforehand, you can just decline the offer. So I recommend putting yourself in the waiting list. However, it is a long waiting list, so it can take a long time till you get an offer. Then here are a lot of links which you can use, which can help you and provide you information depending on if you're a degree-seeking student, exchange students, or there are also other websites that will provide you a lot of information regarding this. Then I'm going to talk about what type of accommodations you can use. And since I'm a student and master student, we can talk a bit about, Christine, could you click to the next slide? Perfect, thank you. First of all, there are residence halls, which we call Wohnheime. They are operated either by a public student service, for example, the Studierendenwerk, or there are also some self-organized, like the most known one here in Karlsruhe would be Hadiko, which is more like a dorm where, like, depending on what residence hall you live in, can be from 5 to even 10 people living on a floor, which you can get a room for yourself and a shared bathroom and a shared kitchen. The pros of that is that it is rather cheap. Like many times you only pay around 300 to 350 euros for it. However, the cons is it switches through a lot of the times. You don't really have a connection to your floor buddies, let me say it like that. And worst case scenario, some people are really unhygienic and you can't really do a lot about it except telling them again and again. Then there's the second option, which is called a shared flat, which also in German is called Wohngemeinschaft, or in short WG. This is more like you have a small room with, most of the times it's like 3 to 5 people. Many of times it's students who live together, where you can pay rent and have your own room. But since it's also like a smaller group of people, you guys have a better relationship to each other. You can talk about problems, like if you have like a hygienic problem or if someone's not cleaning enough, etc. Also, you can check how many months you want to live there, not. There are different websites. For WG, the main one we recommend is WG gesucht, which means WG searching, where you can check it up. You can check for pictures. You can check like how much it costs. Oh, also a cons of the WG is that it is most of the times a bit more expensive. You will see it around 500 to sometimes even 700 euros. So consider also your financial aspect about it. Also, another important thing, if you decide for any of it, especially in a WG, don't sign anything you have not read and only decide if you want to take it after you visit the room yourself. So visit it in person. Don't check just like an online video, etc. Because it's only rarely happens, but sometimes there are people who try to scam you. Also, don't just hand over money, especially not in cash. Have everything written down or written in a contract. And if something bad happens or you do get scammed or you have issues with it, we have like an organization called ASTA, which also has like a subsection with lawyers, etc., which can help you regarding the law or regarding if you got scammed, can help you, or you can also go and ask the Fachschaft for additional information, or if they can send you to someone who can help you. So you're not alone, even if something happens. Yes, maybe Martis want to say something if he has additional tips or things from a student perspective?
Yes, so what I can say is, first of all, there are more self-organized ones that we've listed here. Of course, there's Hariko, I think it's the biggest one, but there are a couple of others. For example, the Insterburg. I think also that on the website we actually have a list of like self-organized student dorms, and I think they're a good alternative to the Studienneberg, but they are also more selective about who they choose. Yeah. Also, I don't know if something has been said to that, but in Germany, there's also like the version of, in English, you'd call it fraternities or sororities, and they make quite aggressive marketing on things like WG gesucht. So on the websites, and they're not all terrible, but you have to be aware that they are sororities and or fraternities, and they have some things that you have to do. With some, you have to like do some old tradition with like sword fighting. With others, you have to like wear their uniform, and just be aware that they exist. And if you find and they often they don't mention it on WG gesucht, but if you see that they're, for example, looking for a man between 18 and 24 and are like a Wohngemeinschaft of 10 people, then directly ask them if they are a fraternity if you don't want that. Yeah, just to clear that up. Okay, that's it for me.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And also additionally, if something suspiciously cheap, always be wary of it, of course. Okay, then let me talk about how do you travel in Karlsruhe or in Germany generally. First of all, in Karlsruhe, it's a great city to drive with your bike around. There's also an app called Next Bike where you can rent like a bike. It's where you scan a QR code and you can rent a bike. If you are a KIT student, you get like 30 minutes riding the bike for free. So you can use that. Also, there's a link with the city map of Karlsruhe, which you can use. And more importantly, like we already mentioned a couple of times, there's something called the Deutschland ticket, which is like a ticket with what you can ride every train you want, except for intercity trains. So like IC and ICE, those are like the exceptions. You can use long distance trains, but with the exception of them, you can use every train, whether it be like a city train or a street train or like inter-regional train. There are like two differences. The first one would be the Deutschland ticket, where you have to pay 63 euros per month, which is for students over the year of 27. But if you're younger than 27, you can get the D-Ticket Jugendbw, which is like a cheaper version of the Deutschland ticket. Yes. Then if you want to know how to orient yourself within the campus, there's the campus map, which you can also search for buildings. The buildings have numbers like 30.01, for example, and then you can search up, all right, what building is it, where is it? Yes. Then there's also fees you have to pay to attend the KIT. This is like, yeah, this is a bit more detailed. You don't have to know everything about this. Many times, if you're an exchange student, you have to pay a bit more. If you're an exchange student from another country, you have to pay a bit more than if you're from the EU, etc. It's more like a bureaucracy thing. Yeah. However, let's talk about the living expenses.
So for exchange students, some of our exchange students have agreements with KIT, their home university, where they don't have to pay the tuition fees, but that varies from program to program. So don't panic if you're an exchange student. Typically, you tend to pay the fees here, but we'll go, the fees here. But we'll go into more detail about
Okay, then let's talk about the living expenses. Since many of you have been living on your own or will be living on your own, you also have to plan your finances. Since you're going to another nation, it can be a lot of differency. Like you can see, you have transport costs, rent costs, like internet, housekeeping, which are like fixed costs. Then also like costs which can diverse regarding what you want to eat, health insurance, and if you want to eat outside, if you want to do specific activities. Of course, this is just like an estimation. None of it is fixed in stone. So check for yourself, but I recommend having like a table or a bit of planning so you don't have any financial troubles in the end. Or yeah, as you can see, the most expensive thing probably will be the rent. Okay, but since you're a student here, your only job is not just learning every day, every week for the entire year. You also want to have a life outside of student things. So you can get a bit of relaxation, can connect with other people. And the KIT or Karlsruhe generally provides a lot of things for that. First of all, one of the main ones would be the International Buddy Program. They do a lot of events where you can get yourself a buddy who can help you with get used to living in Germany, but also attending events and socialize a bit more. Then there's also the ISRT KIT, which has like a lot of events and a lot of options you can join to. Whether it be if you are queer or whether it be, it has a lot, gaming nights, board game nights, events, talking, tea, parties. They have a lot of things. Then there's also the AKK, which is like a cafe from students for students, which you can attend to. They also do other things like small parties or dance courses, so you can attend them too. Another major one would be the Hochschulsport, which is like they provide you with different sport activities you can attend to, whether it be golf, whether it be basketball, or even ninja parkour if you want to do that. However, you have to be fast and register for them because a lot of people are interested in them and the spots get filled up really quickly. Okay, then if you check the next slide, you can also see that we provide the links for them, so you don't have to remember everything. Again, the slides will be uploaded, so you can check them on your own laterwards. Like I already talked about to you, Karlsruhe also has some events for everyone and stuff you can do. One of the major things for sightseeing is like the palace in Karlsruhe, which is like the main building. Then every year there's also Das Fest, which means the festival. So you can also attend that. And we have also the ZKM, which is like an amazing museum for art and media. So if you have time, I highly recommend visiting it. Yes, here's a map from Karlsruhe, as you can see. But you're not limited to Karlsruhe. For example, if you have the Deutschland ticket, you can also visit other cities or even other countries. One of the highly recommended ones are Frankfurt, Berlin, which you can just visit with the trains with your Deutschland ticket. Or Munich also is an option. I highly recommend visiting Strasbourg. You can go there with the Deutschland ticket, but you have to pay for the ticket to Strasbourg itself, which is like 10 euros. But if you have time, it's really nice. Just do a city trip day and go there. You can also go to Amsterdam or Paris. It's a lot of options. Also, there are other options, for example, like Bad Wilbert, which is where I'm from. There's like a treetop walk. I also recommend going there because the view from up there is really amazing. So check it out if you have time. Check it out if you want to do it. Yeah. Then we do not want to scare you. However, I believe it's important to mention this. The emergency context if you're living in Germany. We hope that your stay here will be amazing, etc., and you're not in need of that, but just in case. The first one is 112, which is like the number for the firefighters, also fire department, ambulance. If you have any life-threatening situations or an accident have happened, this works Europe-wide and is free of charge. And the next number is 110, which is for the police, which you can call if you for fraud, robbery, if there's any violence or any traffic accidents. Of course, you have to call them if there's a traffic accident. And yeah, I highly hope that you do not have to call them, but remember those two numbers. Yes, then Christine will talk about our websites and videos.
Okay. So as we mentioned before, the International Student Office has a lot of wonderful information up that we recommend that you take a look at in starting your studies. Also, the Studentwerk Karlsruhe has information that we would encourage you to check out as well. There's also a university glossary that's only in German, but it gives you some of those core words that you might need as you navigate. And there's a KIT glossary. I'm not going to repeat these links. We've talked a lot about them. Please check them out. Same thing for exchange students. There is on the International Student website for exchange students a really useful brochure that we'd recommend that you take a look at. And on the International Student Affairs side, there's also advice for international students that we encourage you to read through. There's a variety of videos that we think are very useful. Some of them are only in German, some of them are in English, but there's enough technology out there that you can have it translated into your personal mother language. Our Department of Informatics has a variety of videos and events that we hope that you can utilize to help you starting off your studies. As we've mentioned, the International Student Roundtable, there's also mentoring get-togethers that we'd encourage you to attend. We also have our InfoBytes website, YouTube channel, which has a lot of information about your studies. So please take time to look at those. So,
Christine, if I may interrupt you for a second.
Yep.
I saw a couple of questions in the chat regarding it. I highly recommend searching for a WG and a student dorm at the same time. You can decline offer after they accepted you. Don't depend on just one thing. I highly recommend using every possible link you have, every possible resource you have.
Yeah, I can confirm that when I moved to Karlsruhe, it took a while to find a place, and we were very active in writing letters and consulting various people to try to find a flat to rent. Points of contact and an overview. So in the Department of Informatics, there's a variety of folks who will support your studies. So the Informatics Study Program Services is our sort of official central office that can provide information about your program of study. They do student support, including advising regarding studies and exams. They're the ones that produce the FAQ, the module handbook. They do a variety of administrative tasks, provide the International Student Roundtable and other events as well. Also, the Department of Informatics has an international exchange portion. That's also one of my responsibilities. We manage your learning agreements. We help our incoming students select modules, etc. For our degree-seeking students, you can also study abroad. Even if you're an international person, and there's a lot of options, and we provide a number of workshops regarding that as well. We've talked a lot about the FSME, the Student Representative Organization. We strongly recommend that you work with them. They're really dedicated to helping our students. And in the department, in one of the buildings, we also have a library that's specific to informatics. For international students, there's the International Student Office. There's different groups within the International Student Office that serve degree-seeking and exchange students. We also have the International Student Center at Studentwerk that serves all international students, as does the International Student Hub. And there's the Studiumstart International Information offered in Ilias that we recommend that you join in because they have so much information there, so much resource information and videos for you there. Some other offices within KIT is the KIT Studienservice, or SLA. This office deals with fees, registration or to return to your studies, or deregistration when you withdraw from your studies after you complete your studies here. They provide a lot of resources for you, also the certificate for student transportation, etc. The center, ZSP, is our center for student advising that gives general advising regarding academics. If you're having doubts about your major, etc., they're a wonderful office to visit and talk with about what your options are. The House of Competence offers a variety of soft skill workshops as well as other supports during your studies, and a help desk forum provides some events, social research, and the campus radio. Career services we work closely with, and they offer a ton of events and support services for our exchange students and our international students, and for all students. Please take an opportunity to look at what's available for you. So if there are no other questions, again, I really appreciate all of you sticking with us. 2+ hours is a long time to chat, but we hope that you have a lot of information to take away. And again, check out the QR code. And again, hopefully we'll see you at the mentoring get-together on the 1st of October. That information you can you put the link to the event website?
I've put it multiple times. I can put it one
more time. But the mentoring get-together will be a great chance to meet my team and myself, and it's a nice way to engage and socialize with other students. So have a great evening, and look forward to seeing you in a few months.